You know, he'd had a contentious relationship with a lot of the press. He called out their bias. But I will say that upon his departure, most of the press here were standing by, taking video of President Trump leaving for the last time on Marine One. Marine One had been sort of, throughout the last 4 years, its own event, right? There was more focus on that helicopter than I think there had been with any president prior to this, because the president so often held those press conferences outside on the South Lawn and was really accessible to the press. That's going to really change. We're probably not going to see that. I can almost guarantee we're not going to see that with President-elect Joe Biden when he's officially in here as president. President Trump was a very accessible president, and you saw him there delivering his remarks at JBA just before taking off in Air Force One. It had a very rally type vibe to his speech, his closing remarks, and he definitely hinting that he plans to have a political future, but he also highlighted some of the successes of his administration because, as we all know, over the last 4 years, that's something that the media has not highlighted in the way that they do other presidents or the way they did his predecessor, President Obama. And the president really does leave office with lots of accomplishments in the last 4 years. You had the Abraham Accords. You had the strong economy that he did achieve that they said could not be achieved before the coronavirus pandemic. He was on track to definitely take a second term with the kind of economy he had at that point at the start of 2020. He also made a lot of moves on regulation. The energy independence that the country has enjoyed during the last 4 years is something that could change very much with Joe Biden. So President Trump leaves office with a long list of accomplishments that often is not highlighted in the media. Emma, Sean.
Emerald, really quickly, just to ask you, I know you're there at the White House, and you were there at a very monumental moment not too long ago where we saw President Trump depart from the White House. I'm just curious to know, what does it look like today? You've been covering this for quite some time on President Trump. What does a day like today look like at the White House from your perspective?
Well, you can definitely feel the shift, that this is a major change. Clearly, everyone knows that. But I think the thing that I do notice the most is that while the media has been obsessed with Trump, they're clearly feel more comfortable with Joe Biden coming in, and you see them anticipating that with more positivity than they ever gave President Trump. So that's noticeable. There's a very big difference here in that regard today. And other than that, right now, it actually feels quite empty because there's not the staff running around. It's, just press here right now. And it feels like you're in limbo, so to speak. It feels a bit like, you can feel the transition period that we're in right now.
Absolutely. And of course, it will transition into a new administration. Emerald, I'm sure you were listening in to the president's remarks as he wrapped them up there at Joint Base Andrews. And his final line was, "Have a good life. We'll see you soon." I think that's got a lot of people, of course, wondering what could come next. Could this be the end of Donald Trump in an elected official role? So many questions remain, of course, facing the impeachment charges from the House. Have you heard anything from your sources about the president's potential next move?
Yeah, so he's already planning to get to work on challenging those Republicans who went against him with impeachment. He plans to be very vocal and active with that. We're going to see a president, based on where he is right now and his thinking, from what I've heard, who definitely wants to remain the head of the Republican Party. But look, a lot hangs in the balance with this Senate impeachment. The remarks that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell made on the floor yesterday indicate that he is leaning towards conviction, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. And a large reason for McConnell wanting to potentially impeach President Trump is the vote to not let him hold office again. They'd like to take back the power that he currently leaves with over the Republican base and the Republican voters.
All right, Newsmax White House correspondent Edward Robinson joining us live there from the White House. We'll check back in with